Oh, it's me! Hey, what's up? It's Eveline Chevrolet. We're doing something different today, as you I'm sure have already guessed. So Fairy Tale, 1,000 year quest, 100-year quest is coming out soon, right? So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. Um, So, I don't know, I thought I'd do a fairy tale video, and what better type of anime video to do than the top girls you like? I do love me some girls, especially some fairy tale girls. So that's what we're gonna be talking about here. We've got my top 10 fairy tale girls along with some honorable mentions later on. Honestly, even 12 was like hard to fit all of the ones that I wanted into, because to be frank, I think Fairy Tail has so many great characters, especially great, like, you know, women. I like the male characters too, but like, I have a bias. I'm fucking gay. If you couldn't tell already from my commentary, I'm fucking gay. Is it too early to be saying the fuck word? Whatever, who cares, I'm not monetized. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about basically, you know, things I like about the girls I like in Fairy Tail, and also things I don't like. I don't know, I don't actually watch top 10 videos very much. I don't know if people normally do this, but I wanna talk about, you know, the positives about things, but also things that I think, like, could be better. I don't know, that could be interesting. Could start some discussion with that. We'll see. This isn't really scripted. I'm just gonna go based off of the, PowerPoint, or rather Google Slides that I made, and just kind of work based off that. So, yeah, that's about as structured as this will possibly get. So here we go. This video will contain spoilers for the main Fairy Tail series. However, it will not contain spoilers for 100 Years Quest because I have not read 100 Years Quest, and the anime has not come out at the time of recording this. I'm hoping to get this out before that, but we'll see. And please don't post 100 Years Quest spoilers in the comments, please. I'm begging you. I will be very sad if you do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and start. Let's start with my criteria, alright? So, obviously, this isn't like who I think is the best. That plays a part, but the biggest part is just how much I personally like them. Like, even if I don't think they're, like, necessarily a perfectly written character, I might just like them because I like them. And that's, you know, the point, I think. So, yeah, you don't need to, I mean, you can if you want, but you don't need to go into the comments saying, like, why this character is better than this character. Like, I probably know. But I have my own biases, of course. And, you know, Fairy Tail is also a series that has made me cry a lot while watching. So, you know, I like to feel emotions. So, you know, they probably got bonus points if they were, like, you know, if their writing or their story was moving enough to the point where I ended up crying. Although I cry very easily, mind you, so. It's just some bonus points, alright? So let's start. We're going to start with number 12. Who do we have? We have, I'm a little bit in the way. We have Carla. Let me move me. Okay, it was weird being in that corner anyway. So we have Carla. She is Wendy's little, um, you could say sidekick, you could say guardian, you could say big sister cat. Any of those kind of apply. Or pet, I guess, but anyways, so I mean, you know, Carla's a good character. You watch the Edelus arc, Carla's great. She's cute, obviously. She has great development in the Edelus arc. I really like what they did with her character. You know, a lot of people felt kind of turned off from her character, I feel like. At least in... mind you, most of my knowledge of other people's reactions to characters are from reaction videos. So, when I generalize like that, that's kind of what I'm going off of. So, you know, I notice a lot of people seem to, you know, get a bit turned off from her early on because she's kind of a bitch. But I think there's some really interesting depth to her attitude when you look at it in hindsight. And I really like it. Like, you can read between the lines a lot with her, which is cool. My AC is turned on. I forgot to turn it off. No. It's off now. Carla has, of course, made me cry a couple of times. Edelus. Ooh, Edelus wasn't the first time I cried, but it definitely... It was like, ooh, that was hard-hitting. I don't know why it was as hard-hitting as it was, but it was. And, you know, she just has good dynamics. Her dynamic with Happy is really nice. Happy needed a straight man because Lucy was a good one, but I feel like if it was just Lucy getting mad at Happy for his antics all of the time, then, I think people would hate Lucy more. Although, I like the dynamics, though. I like her dynamic with Wendy as well. I think it's really sweet. They have, like, a really, you know, sisterly relationship. It's really cute. Now, as for the negatives, she looks weird as fuck. She looks really weird. Why does she have such a different facial structure? Like, she just has this human anime woman face, and it's odd. You get used to it after a while, though, I will say, but it is off-putting at first. She didn't really get that much major development outside of Edelus. I think that's, like, you know, fine, but, you know, could do more. Could do more. I already mentioned she was a bitch at first. Like I said, I don't think that's necessarily a negative, but it could be considered one, depending on how you look at it. And also, listen, her human form is, like, cute, but it just feels like fan service for some reason. And I don't mind fan service, but it's just like, oh, okay, why? Why? Did we really need a cat girl to fill our cat girl quota? Since, I don't know, Miliana is, it's not like she's a major character or anything. I don't really mind, I guess, that she got an anime girl form, but it's weird when she gets one, but then, like, Happy doesn't, and then Panther Lily just gets a buff furry form. I think Carla might as well have also just gotten a furry form, but people probably wouldn't have liked that as much. I don't know. I just think there's just a weird difference in how they treat the cats. But that's number 12. So moving on to number 11, we have a character that goes by like 3 different names. Michelle, also known as Imitatia, also known as Gonzalez, which is her like real name. Her given name, I guess, is Gonzalez, but I guess she's officially called Imitatia. I don't know, but I really loved her. Oh my god, she is adorable. She is adorable. Just look at her. I mean, come on. She had really great development considering she was only in the one arc, the Key of the Starry Heavens? Key of the Starry Sky? Key of the Starry Heavens? I don't recall. But she had really good development, and it was just really precious. It moved me. So, you know, she was also just like, before shit went down, she just had some really good character interactions. Just like, she was a fun character with fun little shenanigans and fun little quirks. And I feel like they could have easily included her more if it would have, you know, made sense somehow. You know, if they could give her back a human form or something. But like, she would have so just fit into the main cast, I feel. And that would have been so sweet, so sick. But no, that's not what they wanted to do with her, and I respect that. But it would have been cool. And her abilities in design as Imitatia, oh my, the like plant rose aesthetic was done phenomenally in my opinion. Her outfit looks pretty cool, but her weapon and her shield, you can't really see the shield in this picture, but it's like rose petals and shit, and it goes brr brr like a saw. That's so sick. I really like that. Yes, mind you, I think the Key of the Starry Sky was a super good arc. Like, y'all can cry filler all you want, it was good. And it's canon, so so yeah. But first of all, I don't know what to call her when I refer to her. I'm used to just calling her Michelle, even though that's not her name at all, and was never her name. Her name should presumably just be like Gonzalez, since that's presumably what Lucy named her, as we saw in the flashback. But I think she's officially called Imitatia, but like, what am I meant to call her? And calling her Imitatia casually is also kind of spoilery for those who aren't in the know, or whatever. Like, I know it's not a new... I know that season came out quite a long time ago, but still. But yes, she was also only in the one arc, and it was a bit of a divisive one, largely because it was filler, but also a lot of people thought it was boring at the beginning, from what I can tell. I get it. It was a little slow at the beginning. I don't mind it being slow. I am not in a big rush when it comes to shonen anime, aside from if a fight is taking too long for me. So I didn't mind that part of the arc, but it's, you know, it's clear to see it was a bit divisive. Unfortunately, she did still share the arc with the Jiggle Butt Gang, which is a downside that is minus points. Very unfortunate for her. The Jiggle Butt Gang does detriment anything they touch. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. I just didn't like them, and I think a lot of people agree with me on that one at least. But you know, whatever. And I would love to have her back, but of course, I would say it wouldn't make a lot of sense. But also, Fairy Tail has pulled dumber shit before and like more crazy shit. They can pull off an excuse for bringing Michelle back if they really wanted to. They just probably won't. I would like it though, personally. Now, number 10, Aquarius. Look at her. It's Lucy's crazy aunt. Now Aquarius, oh gosh. Yes, Aquarius is awesome. She doesn't have a lot of screen time, like, mind you. She is a celestial spirit, and those inherently don't get a lot of screen time, but she is, like, maybe the third or fourth most? I don't know. I feel like Virgo and Loki probably have more, but they're the only ones I can think of that would. Either way, I still think she's an amazing character despite that, despite her lack of screen time, which is pretty impressive. You know, I know you can say that for a lot of characters, but I think she's very impressive. She's cool. She's very cool. She's super pretty too. Her development, of course, is like slow burn and kind of subtle because of her lack of screen time, but you can definitely notice it happening if you pay attention. Like, for example, you know, early on she generally has no care for Lucy's well-being, or barely any at least. But like later on, when things start getting more and more serious, she starts like in her own way showing that she doesn't want Lucy to actually like seriously get hurt or get killed or something. You can see that a little bit when she appears in the Edalus arc, for example. I can't think of a lot of examples off the top of my head, but I just think that's really cool. I like seeing subtle changes like that. It's just, it would be nicer if we could see a little bit more between them on screen. A little bit more on-screen development. You love to see that. But it's still really cool to just get to see that subtle read between the lines kind of development too. Tartaros. Oh boy, Tartaros. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if Tartaros didn't make you cry, like, if any part of Fairy Tail was going to make you cry, it would have been Tartaros, right? I mean, come on. I'm not saying, like, you know what I mean. Yes, that was the moment with Lucy and Aquarius's key. Oh my god, that fucked me up so bad. Like, Tartaros in general was full of crazy shit, but oh my god. That was definitely the most impactful part of it. For me. Of course, she has good comedic interactions. Like, even from episode 1, you just see her, like, not really being the obedient type, and, you know, teasing Lucy. And I think that's great. I think they introduced her really well, and they kept her pretty consistent. And you know, it's always a joy to see her show up. Even if sometimes she just shows up to go like, well, anyways, I'm going back to my date now. Fuck you, Lucy. Goodbye. She is a sassy bitch. I do love that she's a sassy bitch. Oh, right, yes. The return in the final season, that was hype as shit. Like, that was so just cool. That's all I have to say about that, really. That was just a really cool way to, like, bring her back and not even do it permanently. Like, I'm not sure. I imagine she probably makes a return in 100 Years Quest. Obviously, I don't know. And, don't post spoilers in the comments. Once again, please. Onegai, do not. But, the fact that she never became, you know, just kind of returned to being Lucy's spirit again. The fact that she never returned to being Lucy's spirit again within the main series was absolutely crazy, because that means it's like one of the few times they actually committed to quote unquote killing off a character. Obviously she wasn't killed off, but it was definitely a commitment that is more than they would usually do for characters. Looking at all of the death fake outs in Tartaros and the final arc and other arcs too, but especially those two. Anyways, yes, she does have the Celestial Spirit curse of not getting a lot of screen time. She is one of the ones that has the most, but Celestial Spirits are kind of fucked there. Again, her development is pretty subtle. I don't find this to be an issue, but I feel like a lot of people who aren't paying that much attention when a character gets development in this kind of way, just don't notice it. I feel like a lot of people won't really pick up on certain things where you have to read between the lines, if you know what I mean. And that's not the fault of the writers or the character. And I'm not necessarily saying that's like the fault of the viewer either, but it is the case. You know, she is a sassy bitch even when the situation seems like a little too serious for her to be like fucking about. There's only just like a couple situations where I would say, yo, what the fuck, Aquarius? But it does happen sometimes. And oh yes, the Eclipse Celestial Spirit arc. That's one of my least favorite arcs. I could go on, but basically I found it to be a shit ton of wasted potential. There was no development, no payoff except for the scene with Lucy and Aquarius at the end, and I was frankly hoping for a nice scene with Virgo, considering it seemed to be focusing on, you know, Lucy and Virgo at first, you know, the whole she getting matched with her and having to fight her and stuff. No, we got nothing. We got nothing out of that. I'm so salty. I'm so salty. There was so much potential in that arc that was just not used. Anyways, moving on. Aquarius did get a very nice scene at the end. It was nice. Like, I can't fault that. But that's the only form of payoff we got, and it was too little too late for a long arc that I personally did not find good. except for the one episode with the card game. That was good. That's the only one I liked. Moving on. Number 9. Ultir Milkovich, our resident time mage. Ultir is very cool. I mean, y'all can imagine the reasons I would like Ultir. I mean, she's just a good character. She gets really good development, pretty freaking consistent. You get, like, reveals, extra depth, like, over several arcs, and that's always so cool to see when a character gets development over multiple arcs, and it's, like, an ongoing thing, you know? You can tell I don't watch a lot of shonens, but... Okay, real talk, I've only watched, like, a few shonens. I, like, some of Pokemon, a good amount of Pokemon, Black Clover, Fairy Tail, like, maybe one arc of Naruto. I didn't like Naruto very much. And Fire Force Season 1. That's, like, it. But I really like Fairy Tail. And I really like how they do the characters, as you can see. So, like, some of these things that I praise might just kind of be a shonen thing, but personally, they're things I haven't seen that much of. Like, okay. Anyways, she just has, like, a really good development arc, and I think it's really cool. And she's, like, they managed to make her, like, you know, pretty awful, but still sympathetic. Like, you still, once you learn more about her, you're like, oh damn, I see. I guess it makes sense how she could have turned out that way. Fairy Tail does this a lot. I will say the way of showing it is often very black and white. It's like, oh, these people were so evil that, of course this person would turn out this way. And it's not subtle at all. But they make it work for a lot of their stories. They make it work for Ultir. She has a really good redemption, for sure, though. She repents, like, really well. Like, she makes up for... I mean, it's tough to say someone makes up for their crimes when they've done such atrocities as they have done, as she has done. But I would say she did, like... She repented, for sure, and she did a good job. Her magic also is just really cool. Like, time magic generally is... I mean, most things I see do kind of the same thing with it. It's just kind of the same. Oh, it's time magic. You could either stop time, maybe some characters can move time back a little bit. It's not very common to see that, but sometimes they use it. Or slow down time, or just boring shit. I mean, you can do interesting things with it, obviously, but it's like the same idea, you know? So hers is a little more interesting. I like it. I think it's cool to see what she does with it. Even though you don't actually get to see her fight, like, that much. Either way. She wears a lot of bodysuits, though. The bodysuits are a little distracting. They like to show her crotch and ass. Her tits are pretty much out there too. Yeah. So yeah. Bodysuits aren't really fully my thing, but that's what she does. A little distracting. Yes, after doing a similar thing as they did with Aquarius, where they quote-unquote killed her off, but didn't really kill her off, Biggie, couldn't keep her gone. For Aquarius, it made sense for her to return, I think, but Ultir fell a bit out of nowhere. That moment that she did appear, it was very hype, but it was also just like, wow, okay, you really could not commit, could you? Uh, Either way, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, even when I was making this Google Slides, I couldn't think of much like really negative to say about her character because I think it was just done very, very well. So let's just go ahead and move on to number 8. We're already half an hour into this and we're only at 8. So number 8. Oh, this one's gonna be a little controversial. Urza Scarlet, yes, only at 8. I mean, I think she's an amazing character. So let's just get that out of the way with. I think everyone on this list is amazing. So don't come at me. Actually, do come at me. I need the engagement. Do come at me for putting her at only 8. We can argue. We can have a little throwing of hands in the comments, right? That's okay. It's all in good fun. But yeah, Urza's, I mean, I can't just say she's cool. Everyone knows she's cool. She's Urza. What the hell do you want? What am I supposed to talk about? Like, it's Urza. Everyone knows why Urza's cool as hell. Her development, it was good. It was good. It was oddly limited to only like 2 arcs, really, but I guess it's, I don't know. I guess just a large amount of it was kind of already done before the start of the series, in a way. So like, we saw a bit, quite a bit in flashbacks. So like, what we actually got for her developing in real time was the oh god, Tower of Heaven arc, and what was the other one? I can't even remember. But yeah, she didn't get that much, but she got enough. She got what she needed, and honestly, that's fine. They, you know, there are other characters that needed the focus on their like real-time development a little more, so I get it. But what she did get was great. The Tower of Heaven arc was phenomenal. A lot of people would say it's their favorite, or at least their favorite from early in the series. I wouldn't say that, but I can't deny that it was a really, really, really good arc. Her personality is fantastic. She has a really good mixture of like the serious, you know, the serious like warrior, big sister type of character, and just this silly like, what are you even doing? Get rid of the play supplies. And I love that. That gap is so fun. If she were just like serious all the time, I would not care that much about her. I'm going to be completely real with y'all here. Like, I would still think she's good, but like, I need a little bit more than just being cool and awesome, you know? So, oh, and her fights. Her fights are one of the best parts, because they make no fucking sense, especially later on in the series. They don't make any fucking sense. She is the power of friendship, the character. Y'all will come at me for this one, but she is. Like, you see the Azuma fight, power of friendship. The fight with, like, the fucking... The fight in Tartaros with the demon lady, that was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Oh my god. It was so stupid, but it was so good. Like, because it's Urza, you expect this from her, and you don't give a shit that it doesn't make sense. It's Urza. You, like, that's what she does. And she makes it cool. It's just, it's Urza. What else can I say? There is a negative section, so feel free to come at me even more. I want her to wear a lollygoth more often. What else do I need to say? Yeah, only 2 arcs of major development. For a main character, that's not a lot, but again, it worked enough for her. Even though they could have done more, but it worked. Yes, again, her fights don't really make a lot of sense later on. Like, yeah, you can say, oh, their friendship is magic. Literally, but her fights are still fucking stupid as hell. I love them for it, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to, like, really feel a huge sense of stakes, you know? Which is fine. I don't really care, but, you know, it's a thing. I didn't know where else to put it besides on the negatives page, but I don't really care. I know a lot of people probably would, but a lot of people seem to not care and like Urza anyways. I don't know. People's opinions on Urza versus their opinions on Fairy Tail as a whole confuse me, because they don't like that a lot of people don't like that it's a power friendship anime, but then they like Urza, who is the biggest offender of this. But, you know, whatever. Number 7, we've got Minerva. Yeah, Minerva over Urza. I don't know if anyone saw that one coming, but I do really like Minerva. She is a mommy? Mommy? Sorry, mommy? Her development was way bigger than I expected upon meeting her as a character. Fairy Tail does this a lot, where you get a character, usually a villain, they show up in one arc and you don't really... They kind of seem to have a conclusive thing by the end of the arc, and you don't really expect them to return, but then they do, and it's like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? Minerva was one of those, and oh, she was so... Minerva is such an interesting character to me. I don't know what it is exactly. Like, her development was pretty good. Like, yeah, sure, you probably wouldn't necessarily say, oh, it's better than Ultier's, even though I put her over Ultier. I would say Ultier had, like, a better sense of development over the series. Of course, she got more screen time to do that with. But Minerva, I don't know. She got me. And, like, once again, she's a similar situation to Ultier, where she committed some atrocities. Not quite on the level of Ultier, mind you. But then you see her backstory and you're like, oh, I get it. How else was she going to turn out, I guess? I will say, it was, like, so satisfying to see that fucking piece of shit dad, like, go down. Like, fuck him. Oh my god. Anyways, yes, it's crazy how they managed to still make me actually feel kind of sympathetic after she fucking tortured Lucy in front of an audience. And it was like really fucking mean. Like, she had no reason to do that other than just to be mean. But then I still felt for her. I'm weak, I guess. I think I'm just weak. But I do think it's, again, I am weak, but I still think it's impressive how they did that, even if it probably wouldn't necessarily hit for everyone. Also, she is one of the few people that has tortured Lucy and then apologized afterwards. Not a lot of characters can say that. Yes, sure, there's a lot of characters who've tortured Lucy. There is. She's one of the few that has apologized. Gajeel never did, by the way. No one acknowledges this, but Gajeel never apologized to Lucy. He made everything up to fucking, like, Levy, sure, but what about Lucy, the one that he literally tortured for fun and basically nearly killed? Like, hello? Is no one going to acknowledge this? Don't take this as me hating on Gajeel, by the way. I think he's a great character, but why did they never have a scene with him and Lucy? Even just one where he was like, oh hey, sorry. Anything would have been fine. But yeah, Minerva apologized, which makes her better than, like, most of the people who've done things to Lucy. I can't think of anyone else who did, except, I'm not sure, maybe Flair did, I don't remember. I just remember Minerva apologizing twice. Twice! Who does that? Anyways, I'm going to take a drink of water. Minerva is not normally my type in a woman, or a, you know, woman character. But her demon form, oh. Yeah, that, I felt something from that, as you can see by me plastering extra pictures onto the slide featuring Demon Minerva. I wasn't sure how much of that one picture I could show, which is why I'm covering it up, but yeah. Anyways, why did I leave Mommy on the negatives? I don't know, that was probably a mistake. Yeah, so she didn't really get much character focus after Grand Magic Games. In fact, she got none except for her, apology in, what was it, final series? Avatar arc? That 2-episode arc? She didn't get any character focus, really, after the Grand Magic Games, which, yeah, there wasn't a lot of arcs after the Grand Magic Games, so I guess I get it, but it felt like there should have been a little bit more. I'm not sure. That's just my gut feeling. The demon form thing, why did they get rid of it? Okay, I get why they got rid of it, but why did they just get rid of it and then not explain anything? They didn't explain how they got rid of her demon form. She was just cured by, like, off screen by the next time we saw her. Why? At least, like, give a passing comment, like, oh, we healed her somehow, like, make up some excuse, come on. Did they think it wasn't important? Because that felt kind of like a big deal to me. She went out of her way to, like, I don't, I don't know if she went out of her way, but she did get herself turned into a fucking demon, at least partially, and we're just going to not talk about that? That's just weird to me. Yes, her character writing intentions of irredeemable to sympathetic were pretty unsubtle. As I said before, I don't think that the way these characters are written, like, so black and white with their backgrounds, and, you know, they really don't make it subtle what they're trying to, like, do. And I feel like that probably doesn't work for, you know, all types of viewers, but it works for me. Like, sometimes it does make me, like, roll my eyes a little, but then I'll still be, like, sobbing on the floor afterwards. But I feel like that doesn't work for everyone. Moving on, number 6. Ooh, that's halfway. We've got Wendy! Oh, look at her! Wendy, a sweetie, a baby, a badass baby. She has some of the weirdest... She has, like, kind of the weirdest role as a main character in the show. It's very odd, some of the things they decide to do with her, but she has some of the coolest moments, for real. She has pretty consistent development over the series. I think it definitely helps that she's so young and impressionable, because, you know, I think that does generally leave the most room for character development and growth. So it makes sense that she would just constantly be developing over the series, and I think the way they did do that was pretty good. She's very precious, like, they make you want to root for her. I mean, come on. There's what else can I say? Like, from the very beginning, you're like, oh, she's so sweet. She's definitely got some work to do to catch up with everyone, but she's just doing her best out here, and there's no reason to not want her to do well. She she has made me cry at least 3 separate times. I will not tell you what separate times those were, but I think you can guess a few. I do want to hug her. She has gone through some shit. She's been put through the damn ringer. A lot of the main characters in the show have, but Wendy is a fucking child. So I feel like she especially could use the hug. I do want to give, like, all of the main characters a hug, honestly. Except maybe Gray. I feel like Gray smells like sweat. Natsu probably smells like crazy like sweat, actually. But Gray just kind of gives that vibe as well. Anyway, more importantly, her English voice acting is really fucking good, by the way. I get, like, a lot of people just prefer subs to listen to the Japanese voice acting, and that's fine, but I really recommend checking out the English voice acting just to see what some of the characters are like, because a lot of the VAs do a really good job, especially Wendy's. Like, when she does, like, screaming for Wendy, she has no chill. It is absolutely, like, no holding back screaming. I feel like I remember this happening in the Edalus arc a bit. Probably also the Arashi on Seis arc. I can't quite remember, like, huge examples off the top of my head, except for the torture scene with Natsu and Wendy. But yeah, I think her English VA does a very good job. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, sorry. So, issues. I kind of feel bad saying she has, like, saying anything negative about her, because, I mean, she's just a girl doing her best. I don't know what to tell you. Though I don't really like most of the comedic scenes focused on her. They're usually kind of weird, just in various different ways. Like, she was usually the focus when it came to the Jigglebutt gang, which was unfortunate. And there was some just weird stuff, like the sour pickled plums jokes were, like, usually in serious moments. Like, it was just kind of weird. They do some weird stuff with her, and of course, with a character like her, there's going to be a couple of very odd, I don't know if I would say fan service, but just moments where I feel like what they did with her, they should have done with another character, and should not have done with her. I don't know if I would necessarily say fan service, but like a joke probably in poor taste. Anyways, I also really like that one outfit she wears, pictured here with the white and the red. I think it's really, really cute. I love it. It's frilly, it's ribbony. I love frills and ribbons. And I really like white and red as a color combination, so yeah, I think she's really cute wearing that. Anyways, number 5, whoa, we're getting up there. Sorno! Okay, I will admit I have like a crazy bias towards this character, obviously. You can tell from the fact that I put her above like Wendy and Ursa. I really love Sorno for not necessarily any like tangibly good reason. I just like her. She is like, she's so pretty, actually. Like, especially, I think that the later art style, like, I don't remember if they like changed studios or whatever it was, but the studio or the art style in the latter half of the series really suits her. She is so pretty in it. Oh my goodness. And she's like also somehow cute and hot. Like, both. I mean, I did have to cover her up. I wasn't sure if I could get away with showing her full outfit. Yeah, there's a lot showing. Possibly a bit much. I think the outfit, if you can call it that, the swimsuit she wears, I think it's cute, but she could be covering up a little bit more. But yeah, I love her design. I love her design a lot. She has one of my favorite designs in the series. Look at her ahoge. Oh my gosh. Her character development is honestly pretty good. It's messy. It is definitely messy, and there are some things they could have definitely done better or focused on more, or not waited until the last second and then rushed. But she did get a lot more screen time than I even expected her to in the first place. I thought she would, and the Arashi on Seis in general would be one-off characters. When they appeared again in the filler arc, I was like confused. And then I was like, okay, well, it's just this is a filler arc, right? So that's probably it, right? Then they appear, then they become relevant again. And then the whole Yukino thing, oh wow. It's just like a lot more than you would expect from a character in her standing, you know? And I think that's really cool because I just really liked her as a character. I don't know. She's just the type of character that gets me, my personal taste. It was very cool having her, you know, appear as another celestial wizard. Because we, you know, obviously we didn't have very many of those. But then she wasn't a celestial wizard. Yeah, that only lasted one arc. So we didn't actually have like another celestial wizard until Yukino. This is a little weird, but I get it. Her character is super interesting to me because like at first she just seems like so serious and like a complete bitch and stuff, but then with every appearance she makes, she just gets sillier and cuter, and it's like it's baffling to me, but I love it. By the end of the series, she's just this silly girl. You see like no remnants of what she was in the Arashi on Seis arc. It's so odd, but I can't help but love it. She's just this funny, oh my god, that was a loud crack. She's just this funny girl who like just says some of the silliest things. And she, I don't know how to describe it, but she's cute as hell. Alright? I also love her bangs. I think that like straight bang style is really, really cute. Yes, again, her ahoge as well. And yeah, I just really like her. I don't have like, you know, an objectively good reason to like her, but I like her. Negatives, this is a big list, but mind you, I only have so many complaints because I like her a lot. Okay, so, first of all, I don't even know if I'm, like, allowed to show her full image once again, because her outfit is quite revealing. It's basically just a bikini. Her story arc is very, again, messy. It's rushed at the end especially, which is super unfortunate because I think the whole thing with her and Yukino could have been really interesting to draw out more and just do more with, but they didn't decide to do that. I would have really liked it though. Her powers are, again, she stopped being a celestial wizard to get the angel magic, and like I get that in the context of the Key of the Starry Heavens arc, but we don't really get much insight into her powers after this, because supposedly she gave up angel magic, but she still has a couple spells, but like presumably it's still angel magic, but she's not using the angel coins anymore. But why? You could have just done a arc of her like improving as a celestial wizard, or maybe becoming a celestial wizard again after Key of the Starry Heavens, and then like kind of improving and learning to treat her celestial spirits well, even if she only has like silver keys. I don't know. It just feels very strange to me what they did do. And I think that would have just been a really cool kind of like character arc to do because I'm obsessed with celestial magic. I think it's really cool. I like the celestial, how they do the celestial wizards, and there was so much potential that they didn't touch on, but whatever. We're not gonna dwell too much on that because I could go for a long time about that. Yes, the Key of the Starry Heavens arc. Once again, I did really like that, but the fight with her and Gray, while for the most part I thought it was interesting and neat, the conclusion was for Gray to tell her to stop being mentally ill. Or rather, to stop being okay with dying. Gray, what the fuck? Listen, I'm just saying, if Gray told me the kind of shit that he told to Sorano, that would just make me more depressed. It's like, oh, I'm destroying myself? Okay, that's kind of the point, bitch. You don't gotta call me a fucking piece of shit for hating myself. Damn, that doesn't help. Anyway, yeah, I didn't like that. Suffice to say. Not gonna go into that too much more because that hit a little bit too close to home for all the wrong reasons. And yeah, in general, it just feels like she was done a little bit dirty. Like, she gets a lot more screen time than you would expect, but it's a mess. It's just a mess. I don't know. She's fun when she's on screen though, so like, it's not a huge deal breaker for me, but it does make me want to complain a lot. And she fucks. This isn't a positive or a negative, so I just put it here. But the fight with the horny magic guy, what fucking happened there? Why was she just orgasming the entire fight? She couldn't even help her sister? There could have been a cool moment there, but no, she couldn't fight through the orgasming and just had to be there doing that because she is not a because she's not a vegan? What? Number 4. Another super biased pick, Virgo! Oh god, how do I explain Virgo being number 4 on my list above Urza and Wendy? I love Virgo, okay? She's a simple character, mind you. She is a very simple character, but I love her. She is just fun. She's cute, she's really funny, she's got a really nice design, like simple, but really nice. Pretty and cute, just like, I love her like dead eyes. That's a weird thing to say, but like it just adds it adds so much. I love it. She's such a silly character, but they still make it very clear that she cares about Lucy a lot. And I do love that. She has just a really cute relationship with Lucy. I've seen a lot of people saying they're like sisters. They're not like sisters. Please don't say that. Virgo wants Lucy to fucking whip her ass and milk candles on her. They're not like sisters. Please. That's weird to say, okay? They're not like sisters. They are very close though. They have a really cute relationship, but they're not like sisters. I do consider them pretty much like BFFs though. Like, I mean, I'm personally of the camp that I wouldn't mind if Lucy decided to date her subordinate in this case. But I don't think a lot of people have the same shipping ideas as me. So we're just gonna not talk about that too much. But my princess, when she called, sorry, that keeps appearing in the corner. I don't know why, I don't know how to get rid of it. But, oh, when she called her my princess, when she was like trying to protect her in Tartaros, that made my like heart skip a beat. That's probably like the first time anyone's ever said that about Virgo. But that really did, that did a little something to me. And the princess carrying, I want Virgo to princess carry me. And I do find her kind of, you know what, yeah, Virgo Lucy kick. Look at that Virgo Lucy kick. You can see it up there. It's just so fun that she joined in on the Lucy kick. Oh my gosh. They're so cute! How can you not think they're cute as hell? Even if Virgo's like a little weird gremlin pervert. You can tell Lucy, like, you know, isn't... She thinks that Virgo's a weirdo, clearly, but she's not like that, like, uncomfortable with Virgo being the way that she is, so I just think that's, like, cool. But yeah, whenever she gets screen time, I just know it'll be funny, and so I get really happy whenever she shows up, just in any capacity. It's nice. I like to see it. I just think she's neat. I love her dumb little face. Negatives, I mean, it's not that deep, really. She gets no development, you know. I mean, all of the celestial spirits kind of missed out on that, except for Loki, because he wasn't all, like, he had his little art, and Aquarius, obviously. But I feel like Virgo got a pretty bad deal because she had one of the most amounts of screen time and still didn't get development, when I feel like she could have. But whatever. That's just... I'm probably one of the only ones asking for that anyways, so I get it. Whenever she is summoned to help out, it's kind of a toss-up whether she's actually helpful, even though, as we've seen, she's like very capable and skilled and good at fighting even. Like, I feel like she wasn't initially made for combat, clearly, but she just kind of adapted really well, which I think was a cool detail. But the fact that she sometimes just decides not to help and just decides to dance instead is really kind of weird and disconcerting, and it just feels forced to me. It's like, at that point, why even, like, have her be summoned if she's just gonna be useless anyway? And like, not provide anything. Like, it's the middle of a fucking fight, man. But yeah. I don't like using the word useless when it comes to female shonen characters, because that word is thrown around way too much. Yeah. I don't consider her to be useless, obviously, but like, sometimes they just decide to make her useless for absolutely no good reason, and it's odd. And she's a very easy to write off character, of course. She's very easy to write off as just pure comic relief. I just like to look a little too deeply into characters that don't like really matter that much at first glance. I don't know. That's just me. Again, the Eclipse Celestial Spirits art sucked, and I didn't like it, and that's all I really have to say about that. I feel like Virgo missed out the most for it, even because there was so much potential for her to get development with Lucy, and she didn't get it, and I'm still upset. Mind you, I didn't watch Fairy Tail when it came out. This is like me starting to watch shonen anime is a semi-recent development. Like a few years, yes, but like I didn't watch it when it was airing or anything, so like this is still a little bit fresh to me. Now, before the top 3, we're going to get into the honorable mentions. Fairy Tail has so many awesome women. I love it for that. Again, there's so many good female characters. Like, there were a lot I wanted to put on this list, and I just felt like there was a lot that I should at least mention, even if I don't want to put them on my top, like, 12. So we're going to do that. Just quickly, maybe say a thing or two about each. A special mention to Frosh, our gender-neutral king. I looked and I looked, and apparently Frosh's gender is just never specified. Presumably it's on purpose, because it seems to be that way in the Japanese version. So Frosh wouldn't fit into a top 12 girls or boys video, so Frosh gets to be here. If you start an argument about Frosh being gender neutral in the comments, I will be not happy. Okay, moving on. Honorable mentions. Okay, I don't have anywhere for me to sit, so I'll move myself around as needed. We've got Mira, of course. Mira's just awesome. I felt bad not putting her on the main list. I just had other characters that felt more impactful to me. But I do love Mira. She's adorable, she's badass, her development is really good. All of her family's development is just like cool to see play out. Lizana is like a thing, but we'll talk about Lizana in a sec. But I did like the focus on like just the development of all 3 of those characters. It's cool. The only weird thing is like she gets some extra forms and stuff that just come out of nowhere, and it's like, oh yeah, this is actually her most powerful form, even though we already said her most powerful form was a different form. So those didn't feel super planned out, but it's not that big of a deal. Kana's fun. She's the funny drunk lady, and I like watching her down fucking kegs of beer or whatever. And she's like one of the funniest characters to me. Tenra was rough to watch though. I don't know. There was her parts in it for the most part were just, I appreciated that she was getting some personal character development, but it was hard to watch a lot of it. And then they just didn't even let her use fairy glitter. So it was like, oh, okay, well, that was all for very little. I mean, yeah, she did get the character growth, but like, I feel like she should have gotten a cool moment out of it, but she didn't. That's just me. She is great comedy-wise, though. I really think she's like one of the funniest characters. And then we have, we have Evergreen. I think Evergreen has a really neat design. I like her design a lot, and her magic conceptually seems cool, but they never got to use it like for anything interesting. I don't know. I really like the fairy theming that she's got going on, even with her magic. But again, I feel like her character, while fun, was kind of just wasted potential. And in the end, she was really just reduced to being Elfman's girl, Elfman's love interest, which I didn't really like. I thought their ship was fine, but the fact that that was like the only thing you would really think about when you think of her character is like kind of lame. I don't like it. Okay, we've got some more. So we've got Melody, or Meredy. Yeah, sometimes she's referred to as Meredy, but I watched the dub, so Melody. I really like Melody, actually. She's another one that I really wanted to put on the list, but couldn't fit into it. She's super pretty. Oh my god. And even in her first appearance, she's adorable. I love her design. I love her design a lot. Her magic is so cool. And the way they utilize said magic is also really cool. They get pretty creative with hers when they use it, which isn't often, but they do. She is kind of an underused character, unfortunately. It makes sense that, like, the level that she gets, you know, but I feel like could do more with her. She's really cool. I would have liked to see Melody and Sorano interact, because the most we get to see of those two interact is looking at each other like once. And I just think that these two characters with their personalities would have really funny interactions. So I just would have liked to see that personally. It's not a big deal. That's like a total like fan fiction thing. Yeah, I could just write a fan fiction, I guess, but like I would have liked to see it. And of course, Shelia. I felt like it was hard not to mention Shelia. She's again adorable. The character designs in Fairy Tail are just top notch. Like, you can't really beat them, I feel, aside from the fact that Fairy Tail has no flat girls. Except for Levy, I guess, and I can't count Mavis and Wendy because they have the bodies of children. But yeah, the only problem I have with Fairy Tail's designs is that they all have big bazongas, and they don't need to all have big bazongas. But that's not important. I don't know why I picked Now of All Times to say that. But Shelia is adorable. Her magic is really cool too. She also has cool magic. She just doesn't really get utilized that much. Same with her character in general. Like, she's just underutilized for her actual role. It's very strange because she was seemingly intended to be Wendy's rival, but we didn't really get to see that except for like one fight between them. But she's just a nice girl. Like, there's nothing to dislike about her. I find it odd that they decided, it felt like she was just added in to replace Sherry. Like, Sherry wasn't an interesting enough character or something, so they decided to replace her with her cousin. I don't know if that's what the intent was, but that's what it felt like to me, and I would have liked to see a little more of Sherry, but Shelly is really cool, so I'm not really complaining. the whole magic loss thing was like a weird to me, because supposedly she lost her magic permanently at the end, but then I believe later after the arc it was like, oh, she's been learning magic again. It's like, I thought you said she lost it permanently. I thought that meant she wouldn't be able to use magic again. What the fuck are you telling to me? Can you not commit to anything? Anyways, we've got some more. Let's just go through them real quick. We've got Levy, the only adult character with an adult body that doesn't have huge bazonkers. So I love that representation for the small breasted women. I love that for her. She's also just a good character. There's nothing to dislike about her. Flare with the unexpected character arc. Again, they just kind of throw these at you, but Flare's was especially unexpected because she felt like a really major character in that arc. We've got Yukino, and we've got Lizana, who, look the same. Yukino's a cool character. Yukino's fine. She doesn't really stand out or have any standout moments to me. She's just kind of there, and she's like nice, and she's fine. They probably could have done more with her, but they might do more with her in 100 Year Quest. I don't know. Lizana. I will say, I am of the camp that they did not need to revive her. Some people get very mad about it. I was like, I get it, but I don't think it's worth getting that mad about. I just didn't think it was necessary, but like, it's whatever. I say revive more, you know what I mean. You know what happened, and if you don't, then why are you still watching? Brandish. Brandish was interesting. I thought Brandish was a very interesting character. They decided to go introduce her in the last arc of the anime, and then like, or of the, well, you know, the series, and then get this whole big like development arc with her. I mean, you could say the same with Irina. I didn't think to put Irina. Wait, is that her name? Was her name Irina? Or was it Irina? I don't know. I didn't think to put her in this list. But she was very interesting too. I will say that. She was a very interesting character. But Brandish, like, I felt like had a little more impact on me. She was weird though. She was weird. Poorly Usuka. I don't know. She's a cool grumpy old lady. She's funny. She's fun. I like her. I like grumpy old ladies. And lastly, for honorable mentions, we've got Zira. I don't know if she really counts as her own character. Her existence gives me complicated feelings, but I really like her for some reason. Even though she's kind of just an imaginary friend, but I really like her and her relationship with Mavis, even though it's like really sad. So that's, I think that's the honorable mentions done. We had a lot, but I really wanted to at least include all of those characters here in some way. So let's move on to number 3, Juvia! Y'all didn't think I wasn't gonna put Juvia on the list, right? I mean, look at her. It's Juvia. Juvia's such a fascinating character to me, actually. She's a fascinating character because I feel like the type of character that she is, you know, the kind of like, oh, I have this one character I'm super obsessed with, and that's like, you know, a large part of my character, and it might get in the way of things sometimes, and I talk about it a lot. I feel like that's usually the type of character that everyone would hate. That's usually the type of character I see everyone hate. But then, after I watch this anime, I look at people's opinions, and people love Juvia. I am amazed. I am amazed that they managed to make a character of that archetype and have her do so well. I am very impressed. I just wanted to say that. I wanted to mention that. But for my personal opinions, she is pretty, she is cool, she's cool as hell. Like, what am I supposed to say? I mean, y'all have seen her. She has pretty good character development, not just in her initial arc. It lasts for multiple arcs, you know. Usually it's not like the biggest part of the arc, but it's always like happening, you know. Similar to Wendy, but to like a less obvious extent, maybe. She is, I feel like, one of the funniest characters, while also still being able to, having the capacity to have these really intense moments and these really emotional moments. She has the best fights in my opinion. Like, I'm not one of the people to say like, oh, best fight? Fucking Margear or whatever, or Zero. I didn't like the Zero fight. I didn't like the Margear fight either, actually. I have different tastes from a fair amount of the fandom that I can tell. But that's fine. That's fine. Everyone has their own, like, opinions and priorities when it comes to these things. But I really love Juvia's fights. I think they're some of the best. In fact, I think they are overall the best. One of my favorites, I really like the one with Lucy early on. The one with Lucy and Kiss the band. But the one with Meldy, the fight with Juvia and Meldy is one of my favorites. I really like that one. But she has quite a few good fights. I need another drink of water. This video is gonna end up being 2 hours long. Holy shit. Okay. I do love her character interactions with others. They are very limited outside of Grey. Like, I can't even think of any real conversations she's had with Wendy, for example. But the small amount that she's had with Urza and Lucy are always pretty fun to see. Has she had a conversation with Natsu? I don't think she has. I do genuinely think that more varying character interactions are like, would be so super appreciated for me. But that's neither here nor there. It is here and there, but we're not gonna dwell on it too much. I do love her friendship with Lucy. Her friendship with Lucy is so cute, and I wish they had a little bit more focus on it because they kind of forgot about it after a while, it felt like. And I thought it was like really good addition to her character relationships. So that's a bit of a shame, but I do love those two. And yeah, her powers are fun. She feels very, very strong in like a realistic way. Realistic for what we're talking about here. We're talking about a magical fantasy shit. But you know, yeah. It's also just funny when she says her body is made of water. I don't know. I think it's funny. As for the negatives, there's not many. There's not many. But what there is glaring for me. She is mostly laser focused on Gray. So like I said, she didn't really get anything with anyone else except for a little bit with Lucy and a little bit with Urza. And I just think that's a big shame. Because it was so fun watching her interact with other girls. I also just think her, you know, forming a friendship with Natsu sounds hilarious, mind you. But I really, really liked her relationship with the girls, and we just barely got to see anything like that, which I find to be a real shame. She did get a really nice filler episode. I have to rewatch it because I've only watched it once, I think. She got a really nice filler episode where she interacted with a few of the girls. But that's kind of it outside of like the Tower of Heaven arc and a little bit of Urza interactions in the Tenro arc. So, and Meldy, actually, her friendship with Meldy was really good, I will say that. I just think I would have liked to see more with the main characters. But yeah, that's straight up my only problem with her. I think otherwise she's like a damn near perfect character for me. So that means we can move on to number 2. I wonder if you can imagine who this one is. Mavis Vermillion. Oh boy, Mavis is a very interesting character. Oh shit, hold on, I need to cover her up. There we go. I can't be showing those grippers. She's cute. She's the cutest character in the show for me. I mean, look at her. She's adorable. I want to hug her. I want to pick her up and just like squeeze her. Yes, she is adorable. She has a super interesting character, like, in general. Like, her like, art is really fascinating. And Fairy Tail Zero, in my opinion, was one of the best seasons. I really liked it. I think she made for a really cool main character, and I would watch a full anime with her as the protagonist, to be honest. Just saying. She has my favorite character design in the show. Not just the cutest, just my favorite. I mean, I love her outfit. I love her like, long wavy blonde hair. I might have a thing for blondes. I might be a little addicted to blonde girls. But, and she got a little ahoge too. It moves around. It's an expressive ahoge, and she's got these cute little like dead fucking eyes. She's got a very, very good design for me. Her personality is like, again, there's like nothing bad I could think to say about her personality. She is so sweet. She is a precious babe. Yes, I would adopt her as my sister. Thank you, my Emoto. I would also just I would accept dating her, to be honest. But more importantly, she she has not made me cry often, but she has made me cry hard. Yeah. There is more. There is more. Look at her outfits. Look at her outfits. Look at those dresses. I love Lollygoth. I love Lolly to. Oh no. I cut myself off in a bad way. I love Lolly to fashion is what I was trying to say. Lolly to fashion is really pretty and cute. I would wear it myself if I could. But I do love the outfits that she wears. I think she makes them, she works them very well. She has some good fashion. I also, this with Zira, oh my god. I can't with, that made me, this moment in the final arc made me feel so much, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to feel really happy or really sad or like what, because Zira's just her fucking imaginary friends, and like, I have such mixed feelings. It's like, why did they make Mavis's imaginary friend such a likable character? What the fuck? That just makes me sad that she's not, like, real. She's just a fucking figment of Mavis's imagination. Not to get really worked up, but, yes, this scene made me go, just, it makes my heart flutter. So, yeah. Anyways, of course there are, I have, oh fuck, her feet, no, okay. I have a lot of feelings about Mavis. I have a lot of mixed feelings, actually, because some of the things done with her character I feel like are very questionable to me. And in general, her character just brings up so many questions, sometimes more than it answers. The August thing is weird as fuck. I thought August, like, his character was interesting, and what they did with it was interesting, but the actual conception is like, what the fuck? What? Did she have it? Did she have a child while she was dead? Not dead, but like basically dead? That's fucking weird. I also, you can come at me for this if you want, but I don't really know how to argue it very well. I just really don't like her and Zeref's romance. It makes me, I don't know if this is the intent, because people seem to actually really ship them and think that their story is really romantic, but it just makes me really uncomfortable personally. I don't, like, no shade if you ship Mavis and Zeref, but it makes me feel icky with the creepy crawlies. I don't like it. I would not, yeah, I don't like those two as a couple. So the fact that there was a lot of focus on that in the show just gave me uncomfortable feels. Especially just the fact that after everything, she was able to, like, end things with him because she genuinely had, like, love for him, And I'm just like, girl, please, that, why? Why do you still have feelings for him? I, you can do a lot better, Mavis, I promise. I just, yeah, I just don't feel good about that. Oh, Mavis. Anyways, uh, let's not, I'm gonna blow out into a full-on rant once again. I'm so close. But moving on, we are unlikely to see much of her in the future, I imagine, because she's apparently in the afterlife. I don't know if the lookalikes signify reincarnation. That wouldn't make any goddamn sense, so probably not. It's probably just like oh look, these two look like those two and they're together or something. But they're definitely not. It's not a reincarnation thing. It feels like they're trying to imply it, but like, wouldn't make any goddamn sense. I mean, either way. That's not really the important part. What's important is that we're not going to see Mavis again. If we do, that really shows a crazy lack of commitment. Like, how the hell could they possibly bring her back? That would be so weird. So I'm not hoping they bring her back, but I am going to be sad about her being gone, if you get what I mean. But yeah, that's Mavis. I love her. I think she's an amazing character. I really love her. There's just some bits that give me extremely strange feelings. So with that, we can move on to number 1 for the moment you've been waiting for. I wonder, who is it? Who's first place? Can you guess who first place is? Who's the major character that I haven't shown yet? Imagine it's just like, I don't know, Miliana. I don't know. Let's just show it. Number 1, Lucy Heartfilia. Of course it's fucking Lucy. Knowing me. So let's see what we've got here. We're going to start with the negatives, actually, because I would like to end this on a positive note, you know? So let's start with the things that I find questionable. Which is a lot. I feel like Lucy's character is utilized in a very strange way. And it could have been done better at times. I feel like me just cutting off this one leg looks like weird. Is there... can I like... This is weirder. Okay, we'll just... You know what? No, we'll just cut off her leg, it's fine. Yeah, let's start with the questionable elements of her character, because I feel like there are a lot. As much as clearly she's my favorite character, but she isn't. Okay, so she's not given the chance to do much in several arcs, like much fighting, which early on you kind of get, you kind of understand that, but there's some arcs where it's just like, why? Why did she just not really do anything? Especially given that yes, you could say she's not the main character. There are arguments over this all over the comment section, so I know. Personally, I consider her and Natsu to be the main characters. But, whatever. um, she is, however, clearly the POV character. And I feel like for the POV character to not get involved as much as like she doesn't sometimes, it's strange. It's strange. Especially since she's like grown to be pretty good at fighting by now. I assume that this is probably going to be remedied in 100 Years Quest, but obviously I don't know. If it's not, there's no reason for it to not be, because she's strong now. She does get fucked over a lot. Like, she gets like some awful matchups that she just can't do shit all about. Like, Grand Magic Games, this happens fucking twice. And then she's out of commission for the rest of the goddamn. What? And key of the story happens. It's like, okay, you get why she wouldn't be able to do a lot for a good portion, especially near the end, but like, still, like, the whole arc was about her, so it's weird. Like, and also, she got a good showing in Tartaros, but the final arc, even the final arc, she did get to do a couple of pretty huge things. One of those things was related to just Natsu. It wasn't a fight thing at all. Her actual fight, everything was just with Brandish from what I remember. I've only still watched through the final arc like once. Fully, but as far as I remember, most of her major screen time was with Brandish, and she got a fight with Brandish and she stood no chance, which, you know, that seems to happen a lot with her, even despite how much she's grown, and I feel like it's just kind of a disservice to not give her more of a chance to show her growth as a fighter. It's a bit of a disservice. Even if it like makes sense in the context, like, oh yeah, she got pit against this person, not much she can do about that. I think it's just a disservice in the writing for her. I would like to have seen more focus on her relationships with her celestial spirits besides just Aquarius. And I guess Loki, but even with Loki, they kind of like stopped focusing on that. It was just kind of like Loki appears and he's like, oh, Lucy, and Lucy's like, okay, fight. Especially Virgo though. Virgo, I feel like needed this the most. But for some reason they didn't want to spend a lot of time on the celestial spirits, I guess, which, fair enough, but I would have liked to see a lot more, personally. She has like this torture scene quota in each arc. Urza also kind of has this, where at least once every arc, Lucy or Urza, sometimes even both, usually just one, has to have some kind of horrible torture scene. Like, without fucking fail, I swear, at least one of them always has one, especially later on. It's odd. It's odd. The thing is, a lot of them, it's like, is this like supposed to be fan service? Or are we supposed to feel bad for her? Or like what? I'm confused. I don't really mind, you know, putting characters through the ringer, of course, but like, it just felt like the whole torture scene quota feels like it feels obligatory at this point, like to the point where in like Tartaros when we got a torture scene with Urza, I was like, oh shit, it's our arc league torture scene, and it's it's Urza getting it this time, I guess. So, you know, it's just something I started to like expect every arc at that point, so it was weird. Of course, there was a fan service quota, which, you know, a lot of people complain about the fan service in Fairy Tail, and I get it. I don't think it was that bad early on, though. Now this is coming from someone who grew up on harem anime, so this, you know, this might not really mean anything coming from me, but the Fairy Tail fan service does not feel that bad. Personally, I was able to ignore it most of the time, except in the last arc where it was pretty fucking egregious. Like, it was pretty bad in the last arc. But, for most of the anime, I just didn't feel like the fan service got in the way of anything. I know a lot of people feel differently, but I just felt like I wanted to say that because, like, that just seems to be a very common complaint. I just don't see it. Like, it's not as bad as some other shows. Like, I was watching Fire Force, and the fan service in that just felt so out of place and just, like, in my face. Like, I would sooner watch Fairy Tail in my living room than Fire Force. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, the Eclipse Celestial Spirits arc, that sucked for Lucy as well as Virgo and Celestial Spirits, because Lucy could have gotten so much out of that. It's a shame. It's a shame. Even the whole fight with Virgo was just weird. But maybe let's move on to the positives now, why don't we? So, look at her. Just look at her. She's my type. She's extremely attractive. She's very pretty. She's just got a pleasant design. She's cute, hot, like what? She's all of the above. She's a bicon. She's a bisexual icon. I really wanted to emphasize that. Happy Pride again, by the way. But yeah, like, especially early in the show, not so much later on. They didn't really seem to focus on that. But early on in the show, she gave major bisexual vibes, and you know, especially with the way that she talked about and Urza and such, like, you could just feel the bisexual energy radiating off of Lucy, and I really appreciated that personally. as a person who is unsure what to call myself, but a woman who... I am a woman? A woman who loves women? As a woman who... As a WLW, I just appreciate seeing her also appreciating women. Yeah, to explain myself. Her development is really good. She's constantly developing throughout the series. Like, she's the POV character, so it makes sense. She's one of the main characters. The mainest character aside from Natsu, and even then, I feel like she gets more focus than Natsu a lot of the time. Which I really, really, really love, because this is a fucking shonen anime, and you don't... I'm gonna be real here, like, I admitted to not seeing many shonens, but as far as I can tell, you do not see this kind of thing in very many shonens. where she is like basically on the level of main character. She has more visible development, in my opinion, than even Natsu. At least, you know, I'm biased. I'll admit it. I paid a lot of attention to Lucy. I read, like, obviously I focus on the characters I like, but I do genuinely feel like she has more obvious and visible development that we can actively see than Natsu does. And that's not a bad thing for Natsu. Natsu, I feel like, didn't necessarily need all the, you know, a ton of emotionally charged scenes. And, you know, Lucy got a lot, and I think that way of doing it works for both of them. But, yeah. Just wanted to specify that. I did instantly like her from the from like the first couple episodes, basically. Again, bisexual energy, and her design hits for me really good. And I don't know, she just felt fun. She just felt like a really fun character that I wanted to see, like, you know, I wanted to root for her, so I did. Her relationships as well. She is like the, you know, the relationships character, whereas Natsu is like the you know, focused on like, I don't really know how to describe Natsu's character focus. I don't want to say he's just like focused on fighting, because that's not all there is to him. But like, he's not the relationships character. That's definitely Lucy. And I think she had so many fun and engaging like relationships and interesting interactions to see play out. You could see this with her guildmates, like Urza, Natsu, Grey, Levi, Juvia, Kana, Mira. Like, she had like visible relationships with everyone that she interacted with, basically. And that's just, listen, character stuff for me is like my favorite part of anime. I love it if there's a character focus, and relationships are so fun to watch. But she had these with her guildmates, her celestial spirits, and villains. A lot of villains that she interacted with. Many of which are now former villains, like Minerva. We didn't get to see a lot of interaction with Lucy and Minerva, but we got to see a little. And I feel like they could be friends if they wanted to be. And her and Blair, her and Sorano's kind of a funny situation. I would love to see those two interact more, to be honest, because I feel like they would have a super funny dynamic. I think it would actually be similar to Natsu and Grey, but more feminine, I guess, if that makes sense. Just because, you know, Sorano's kind of just that bitch, you know what I mean? But yeah, oh man, that's just so much to me. And she has so many, her fights and just even her so many of her character moments are so engaging to me. And there's a lot of emotional ones too, just interesting stuff. Like, there's so much. I can't talk about all of it. That would be, this video will take like an hour longer, and it's already at 2. But there's just so much interesting to her, like, character interactions again. And she has some pretty good fights. She has some pretty questionable fights too. And sometimes she just gets the comic relief ones. But I really like it when she gets a cool fight, because I think she, like, always deserves it when she gets one. her fight with Sorano is super interesting to me. And the one with Juvia, of course. And then oh gosh, the thing with the Tartaros arc. Oh my god. Again, there's so much to say about all that. I'm not gonna get too far into it, but suffice to say, she has some really powerful moments to me. And of course, her outfits. Oh, they change her outfits so regularly. I couldn't even fit, like, this isn't even like 1/5 of her outfits in the show. She has so many, and I love it. I love seeing what kind of different outfits she has. Like, she every time she like shows up with a new one, it's so cool. And she has some really cute ones. For real. She gets like a decent variety even. But these are just some of the ones as an example. Some of the neat outfits she has. Oh man. She's just so cute too. Like, I love her little like pigtails whenever she wears those. It's just, you wouldn't expect this. You wouldn't expect this from a shonen main girl. What the heck? Anyway, yeah, I love her fashion. I love the fact that she changes outfits so often. Like, fucking major props to, Mashima Hiro Mashima for that. Yeah. And, I also have a couple of figures of Lucy, actually. I've got them, like, you know, fairly recently. And they're really nice. The lighting in my room is ass. So, like, this picture isn't the best. But it's what I've got. And the figures are very, very cool. So yeah. But that's it. That is my top 12 fairy tale girls. Please feel free to leave a comment. Like, come at me for my opinions. I need the engagement, and also I just want to see what kind of arguments we can get into, right? So feel free to come at me for my opinions. Like and subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't do it. I'm not your fucking mom. And always remember, Lucy's ass is fucking huge. Bye.